guys, I'm back with another video. This was a suggestion video, or yeah. I'm pretty sure this was suggested a while ago. I don't really know who suggested it. For all we know, the person that suggested it quit by now because I haven't watched it. But it's by Dr. NoSleep, or at least that's what the channel name was before. I noticed some channel names because they take so long to react. They change their name or they change their whatever, and then I can't even find the video after, so hopefully I can still find this video after. But it's by Dr. NoSleep, or it was at least. I'll change the color to yellow, or... You know, let's keep it at, I'll have it at bluish violet, if that's cool. You probably can't even notice, but maybe when I'm actually editing I'll be able to notice it more, but I can't really notice it from here, but if you guys can notice it, that's cool. Anyway, so 3 Uber horror stories animated. I love this. I love animated horror stories. Dr. NoSleep, I don't know if I saw him before, or her, probably a guy, but we'll see. I know most horror story guys are men that say the stories. Some girls, but not really, so. Yes, 3 Uber horror stories. I've never taken an Uber. I don't even know if I've ever taken a taxi or a cab before, so I can't really relate, but my sister has taken an Uber or a taxi, but more likely not Uber. I actually know something about an Uber or a Lyft driver, but basically kind of like Lyft or Uber, so basically same thing, just a different name for it. She was assaulted basically, and then cops basically had to find her. A bunch of police services got involved and they were able to track the vehicle, so she was saved. But yeah, and there's actually an article about it. I'm not going to share it just because it says like the name of my city and I do not want that being out there. I could obviously get rid of that too, but just in case. I don't want to like me and her aren't even friends anymore, so I don't want to like expose it or anything, but yeah. It's in the news, it's public anyway, but still. Let's get into this video, guys.
I was never a fan of taxis and other similar services.
Taxis are okay, just more cities,
having
but
some stranger drive me around irked me. Nevertheless, after my car unexpectedly broke down, I was stuck with catching an Uber home.
Or a taxi.
What made matters worse were the ungodly late hours I worked. At midnight, there were no buses or trains driving in my direction. So, after some hesitation, I gave in. After just a few clicks, I found a driver willing to take me the hour-long journey home. 5 minutes passed.
I would not be able to do that.
Car parked next to me.
Yeah, but what are you going to do with your car that's abandoned?
What's your name? He asked, while I confirmed the number on his license plate. Mike, I said plainly, attempting not to start any small talk. I'm Alex, he responded, seeming to take the hint. I got in, and he started driving me home, using his mounted GPS as a guide. Mind if I take a shortcut? He asked. I just mumbled something in agreement, too tired to really grasp what he asked.
Okay.
What followed was a painful struggle against sleep. I tried keeping myself entertained using my phone, but it was a futile battle. I felt oddly hypnotized by the streetlights. The way they flashed by, intermittently lighting up the interior. That, combined with an exhausting day at work, quickly put me into a peaceful slumber. The last thing I saw before drifting off was an unfamiliar street sign that read Glover Road.
Well, I was going to say Glover.
As I awoke, we were driving down a long street. I glimpsed at the dashboard and noticed the clock had broken. I must have fallen asleep. How far away are we? I asked with a groggy voice. Alex didn't respond. Excuse me, are we there soon? Still no response.
Sus.
I bent forward to gently tap him on the shoulder when I noticed his look of utter horror in the rearview mirror.
What?
Pearls of sweat had formed on his forehead.
What's happening?
And his face had turned pale as a sheet.
What is happening?
Alex, what's going on? I asked loudly. Don't look at them, Alex said quietly.
He looks possessed or something.
What? I stopped dead in my tracks. As my tired eyes adjusted to being awake, I got a better look at the street we were driving down. At a first glance, it looked like any old neighborhood, but as we kept driving, I noticed that each and every house was identical.
Boarded up.
Gray, flaky paint with boarded up windows. In front of them stood groups of emaciated people. They were just staring at us as we drove past.
Oh my god.
Don't look at them, Alex repeated. What's going on? There were just a few of them an hour ago. Each time I look over at them, more show up.
What?
An hour ago? Where the hell are we? The road stretched endlessly far ahead, scarcely lit up with
Like, are you even close to home? Like, where the fuck are you?
On each side stood a single row of houses, with nothing but darkness behind them. The GPS told me to drive down Glover Road, so I did. It just doesn't end. I don't know what to do. Why don't we just turn around? I did, he shouted. After 15 minutes of driving down this neighborhood, I turned around. That was more than an hour ago. The exit just disappeared. I tried calling for help, but there's no signal. I pulled out my own phone to check. He was right, no signal. What are we going to do? I asked. I don't know. But we're gonna run out of gas in a couple hours. The further we drove, the dimmer the street lights turned. Before long, they had all but vanished, plunging us into darkness.
Oh my god.
Despite our best efforts, we'd catch glimpses of the weary people staring at us. Each time we did, more of them appeared. Do you think we could run for it? Maybe get behind the houses and out of here? I asked. I don't know, but soon we won't have any other options. Accompanied by nothing but our own headlights, we kept driving. Each mile decreased our amount of gas, and within a couple of hours, the engine started stalling.
Yeah, but you were driving for that long?
This is it. What are we gonna do? Alex asked. I just shook my head in despair. I don't know. The car came to a painfully slow halt, and we were left stranded in the never-ending neighborhood. I made one final attempt at calling for help, but not a single bar of signal could be found.
How you were driving for
like... No sooner had we come to a stop before the people started approaching us. Within seconds, they formed a circle around our car. There they stood, just staring, waiting for us to get out.
What?
Let's make a run for it, Alex suggested. There's too many of them. We won't make it through the crowd, I argued. I'm sorry, I can't stay here. I have to try. With that, he unlocked the driver's seat and jolted out from the car. The very second he set his foot on the ground, he froze in place. Then, he slowly walked over and joined the crowd. Alex, what are you doing? He then turned around and stared at me. His eyes never blinked, and his face had been red.
So it's like once you see them, then it's like you turn into them or something?
Within a second, the street had taken him, and I would be next. That was 2 days ago. Since then, Alex still hasn't blinked, and his eyes have dried out.
So you were just sitting there for 2 days?
They can't possibly function. The car's battery has long since died, and I have spent most of my time in complete darkness. Despite the immense amount of time that has passed, the sun still hasn't risen above the horizon. Wherever the hell this place is, I am stuck in eternal night. The phone has been my only source of light and comfort. I've used it sparingly to try to call for help, hoping for an impossible rescue. Even so, it'll run out of battery soon. Once it does, I am going to exit the car and join the crowd of undead. I'll leave this message behind. Hopefully someone will find it and find out what happened to me. It's time to go. I'll end my message with this. Whatever you do, never drive down Glover Road. It's not supposed to be there.
That story was fake as fuck. I'm sorry, that was fake as fuck.
For 9 months. There's one fair I'll never forget.
There's always that one.
It was a rainy morning. I I picked up a passenger at a downscale hotel.
Okay.
He was middle-aged and stocky. Nothing too remarkable or memorable about him. However, he chose to sit up front in the passenger seat.
Sus.
I had found that single passengers who selected to ride up front tended to be socially inclined and conversational. Not this guy. He didn't utter a word other than nearest ATM. I took him to an ATM where he withdrew a significant amount of cash. Then he gave me an address. We drove to a ramshackle house in a bad part of town.
Okay.
Then waited in the driveway as the rain formed puddles in the pothole. As we waited, the guy made 2 calls. Both times his words were, "Hurry, we're waiting for you." Finally, a pair of passengers emerged from the house.
Is that a baby?
The first was a woman who appeared to be a drug addict, emaciated and balance impaired with a vacant stare. The other passenger was a tiny baby in a car seat. The guy in the passenger seat didn't raise a finger to help the balance impaired drug addict, just watched from the comfort of my car as she struggled to get herself and the baby loaded into the back seat. The baby was about 4 months old, making gibberish and spit bubbles. Back to the hotel, I was commanded. As I drove, the drug addict in the back said, "Have you spoken with him?" "Yes," the man replied. "And he's good?" she asked. "Yes," he said.
Good.
That was the extent of their communication.
Good with...
Meanwhile, the various thoughts swimming around in my head
Good
were...
as in...
1. The baby doesn't belong to either of them. 2. They're moving the baby. They're traffickers. 3. What the hell should I do? We arrived at the hotel. They exited my car. No tip, no surprise there. I watched the baby girl being carried up a set of exterior stairs, then made a mental note of the room number they entered. Then I sat for 20 minutes trying to figure out my next move. If I truly believed my suspicion, then I just wittingly aided and abetted some baby traffickers. Would I be somehow implicated? Or what if my suspicions were wrong and they weren't baby traffickers? Maybe I'd seen too many Hitchcock movies. In the end, I didn't make the call to the authorities. I greatly regret my inaction, and I hope that baby girl ended up with a wonderful and loving home. But I'll never know.
This is definitely kind of weird, but the first one definitely seemed fake.
Some
It seemed kind of
rules
meh.
for new Uber drivers. 1. Never chase a surge. 2. Never pick up a fare outside a sketchy hotel. 3. Never force a passenger to ride share. It was midnight. I picked up my first fare at a sketchy motor inn. The passenger, standing at the darkened lobby's boarded-up front doors, was wearing a bright yellow poncho and black ball cap.
Okay.
He got into the front seat next to me, the ball cap shielding his eyes. "Good evening," I greeted him. "Going to the Bavarian Grill?" "Yes, their prime rib is sumptuous." His voice was high-pitched and vaguely European.
Okay.
I put the car in gear and got underway.
It's 2:35 already?
Driving
Dang.
for Uber? He asked. "I like it," I replied.
For now.
"Any nightmare fares?"
That
The man
you.
inquired. "What do you mean by nightmare fares? Like, has anybody vomited in my car? That kind of nightmare?" "Yes, that kind of nightmare." "No vomiting? Knock on wood," I said. Just then, another fare came in. I accepted it and rerouted. "What are you doing?" he asked. "I'm really sorry. Ride-sharing when the surge hits 10 times is the only way to make big bucks. You understand, don't you?" He was quiet. The new fare was a pair of young ladies, obviously intoxicated. They fell into the back seat.
That's annoying.
The passenger in the yellow poncho sniffed the air. "Margaritas tonight, ladies?" "Oh, hells yeah," they all said.
Okay.
"Guacamole and fish tacos for you," he said. "And spicy queso and tamales for your friend." "That's cray-cray, how do you know that?" Another fare pinged on my phone. I accepted it and rerouted. "Sorry
Jeez.
again." The fare was a tall lad wearing a brown cowboy hat.
That was
He
so
climbed
sus.
into the back seat, squeezing in next to the pair of giggly young ladies. The passenger in the yellow poncho sniffed the air again.
So creepy.
"You had Tennessee whiskey, neat, and pulled pork with coleslaw."
Just knows everything all of a
In my
sudden.
rearview mirror, I could see the cowboy's eyes going wide.
He's like, how the fuck did you know
"Cool
that?
trick, dude." The back seat got loud with laughter, the threesome poking fun at the passenger in the poncho's peculiar talent. We arrived at the Bavarian Grill,
Talent.
and surprise, it too was condemned. The passenger in the poncho turned to me, eyes veiled by the ball cap. "I don't appreciate being grouped with others without my consent." "Sorry," I replied. He held a small item in front of his mouth.
What is that?
"A sugar cube. Everybody keep your eyes on it." He opened his mouth wide. Slowly, something began snaking its way up out of his throat,
What?
opening its miniature jaws to bite the sugar cube. "That's a tapeworm," the cowboy yelled. "Oh God!" The lady who'd eaten the tamales vomited first.
There's your nightmare.
I could smell burnt beans and curdled cheese and tequila. The other lady vomited next, expelling a wave of fishy avocado mixed with stomach bile.
Ew.
Then the cowpoke barfed, a surge of Jack Daniels, tainted barbecue sauce, and fermented cabbage. I vomited last, Big Mac and chocolate milkshake all over my steering wheel and dash. The passenger in the poncho smiled and got out. Never saw him again. I gave him a 0-star rating. Thanks for watching. You can watch a similar video here. And don't forget to subscribe.
Okay, so the first one seemed fake as fuck, just unreal, because like that doesn't make any sense. You can't just be all of a sudden on a road that's like sus like that. So I don't really believe that, but okay. Apparently they're real. Wait, are they real? No, it just says 3 Uber horror stories. Okay, so yeah, so they're all probably fake, but... third one seemed the most interesting. The second one was kind of meh as well, but... seemed kind of normal, but also kind of sus at the same time, but nothing really bad happened. Like, I was expecting, like, murders or, like, trying to kill somebody or something, but none of that happened in either of these, so... definitely kind of weird, but what are you gonna do? The third one seemed the most real. But it's weird because, like, she fed the sugar cube. What? Like, why am I kind of think, like, why did I kind of put together that maybe the guy knew what everybody had, so it's kind of like, is he the one that, like, gave them all the stuff? I don't understand, like, how did he, like, was he the one that just, like, knew, like, did he convincingly knew them all, or, like, somehow know them all? Did he just, like, coincidentally know who they were, and then, like, know, did he give them food or something? That made them puke? Like, I don't know what to think about this story. I don't know what the fuck to think about that freaking snake or whatever, how a worm in his throat, like, the fuck is that? I have no words for that at all, so I have no idea what to say to that, but, if you guys have any thoughts on that, which I'm assuming you guys would, please let me know in the comments below, because I do not know what to say to that, like, whatsoever. Like, I'm just kind of, like, at a loss for words, kind of thinking, like, what? I honestly don't know what to say to that, but with that being said, be sure to subscribe if you are new. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to like this video if you did enjoy it. Be sure to comment down below anything you guys thought of it. Be sure to message me on Instagram if you have any suggestions. If you don't have Instagram, message me down below just and let me know that you don't have Instagram. And then leave your suggestion and I'll screenshot it and put it in my folder ASAP. So that's going to be it for this video. Be sure to subscribe once again. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching and peace the hell out.